Hi there, this is Amanda Frankel with our Crafty Playdate, and today I am going to start you on a video journey to do the October Christmas Club class. So Christmas Club is a class that I offer in person, and I have kits available online with everything that you need except for the stamped images. So you would have everything you need except for the stamps, and you could just put in whatever you want, or I also have a list of the stamps used in each card on my YouTube description below. But in the class, you make 4 each of 3 different designs, and this is October. So if you're interested in this kit, be sure that you let me know that it's specifically October that you're looking for. So you would make 4 each of them, and today we are going to be making this card. So let's get started. I'll move these out of the way. All right. So we are using, I love this card because it's got everything. It's got texture, lots of different texture, even shiny glass. Can you see the shiny glass there to be the window, and bricks. So it has a lot going on. The good thing is we have our stamp emboss machine, and it does pretty much everything. So let's get started and I'll show you what I'm talking about. We are going to use Cherry Cobbler, and it is just a normal standard size base that we're going to use here. And then we're also going to use a standard size panel. So this is the panel, and it's going to go right on top. And you ask, why am I putting same color on same color? Cool effect, because I've got some dimension in here. And so it gives it a pop. You'll have to trust me on that. But we have a lot to do. Actually, I should keep this in here so you can see. We have a lot to do to this piece of paper. And I want to show you without actually doing it on screen, because if I do it here, it will make everything rock and roll for you, and I don't want to show you that. So we are going to be using a couple different things, and I'm going to show you in the catalog itself, because most everything came from this catalog here instead of the Christmas catalog, which is kind of cool. I love finding alternate uses for different things. And the die set that we're using today goes with this Welcoming Window stamp set. It's called the Welcoming Window Bundle, and we're using the dies from this today. And I love, love, love to use something that's not holiday for a holiday, just because you want to use it more often than you thought. And you're going to save a part of what you're doing today and make a spring card later. But that'll be later. So let's get started. So we're using this first to use the dies. So we would take this, and out of this, about a thumb from the top, we are going to use this window die here. And it's going to pop that out. So it will look like this. See how that came out of there? And you've got these little squares. Those you can throw away. I'm going to let you throw something away, but you're going to hold on to this. You don't need it for this card at all, but it's actually kind of a cute thing to use on a white background with a little window box and some flowers. It's going to be super cute for spring. So we're going to hold on to that. We are going to cut another additional one out of this paper here, which is, yeah, I don't remember. I'll list the color down below. Sorry, it's not crumb cake. It's escaping me. All right, so we're going to list that color below for you when I remember. But anyway, it is also going to be cut out, and we're also going to cut out these shutters. So that's this die here, and it looks like this. Now, you could cut this window out of your panel also, but when you do, and then you go to replace this in here, it's a little bit of the wrong size if you have used this die. It's a little wider, and then your window shows. So you are going to use 2 different dies. You're going to use this one for the window to get the lines in it, and then this one you're going to also cut out of the same color that shall be nameless to make a set of shutters. So it looks like this when you cut it out, but we're going to do that on the window so it looks like it could close, right? Okay, so now we've cut these parts out. That's outstanding, but we still need some texture. So how are we going to get the texture to this paper? Because this doesn't look like anything. We are going to emboss it. And the cutting and the embossing all happens with the same machine. So when you cut this, you want to make sure that your bricks are going horizontally. If you make them vertical like this, if you put your thing in here, it looks weird that the bricks are kind of the wrong way on your building. So since it's a house, You can use this handy dandy line that Stampin' Up! Put here to line up your paper before you run it through the embossing machine so that your bricks are straight. You don't have to try and figure out straight, which is hard to do with bricks that are a little uneven. So you would just run it through the machine like this. This is your hinge on your folder, and you always want to make sure that the hinge goes first through your folder, and you don't want to reverse and go back the other way. You only want to go one way. You don't have to run it through and run it back like you do sometimes with dies, just one way. When you do, it's going to come out like this. Now, what I do want to tell you is order matters, okay? It's like math. You want to make sure that you get the order right. If you were to emboss first and then do the cutout, you would actually flatten some of this texture when you run it through the embossing folder with the die on top. So it's just better if you do it in this order. Cut, then emboss. Okay, so now we've got this panel, and we cut out the window out of here. So that's good news. And we have our shutters. That's awesome. So now we need our wallpaper and our tree and all that stuff. So here we go. We are using the Tags and Trimmings Christmas paper, and that is actually in this catalog. Here we go. It's this paper here. I just thought one of the patterns looked a little bit like it could be background wallpaper, so that's what we're using. You can see it's got something on the other side. You could really use whatever you want. You could use a solid, but I really wanted it to look like wallpaper. Does anybody still have wallpaper? I don't know. All right, we're not using these dies. We're using the paper, and we're using this stamp right here. It's a wonderful time of the year. This card would look great with just about any Christmas stamp. You got a Christmas tree in there, you're good to go. But we're using one more. Let me see if I can find it in here. We're using one more. Oh, this one. We're using this stamp set too. Perfectly Plaid. It stamps a little tiny tree. Let me see. I've got it right here. It stamps little tiny trees, and these match with a punch that we had, or a die set or something. No, it's a punch. It matches a pine tree punch. But we want this tree. And yeah, it's a small tree. It looks like it's supposed to be out in a distance somewhere. But for us, it just has to be the top of the tree showing through the window, right? You're only seeing the top of the tree through the window. So that's kind of a trick that we're doing here. We are going to stamp it on our wallpaper. Now, our wallpaper does have an up and down. See, that would be upside down. So we're going to stamp our wallpaper that way. And we are using Mossy Meadow. And let's see here. And I put a mat under it because it is a clear photopolymer stamp. If it had the red rubber background, it would not need this. And I'm just going to stamp kind of down at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, lift. Ooh, lift and stick. And it doesn't matter that it's like a mini tree. Nobody's going to know because it looks like the top. Okay. So we're going to close that up so I can put my hand in it later. And now we can start assembling. Oh, we need our star. Did I think I did actually grab a star too. If you have a star punch or a star die, that works best, but you can use whatever you've got. You don't, I mean, a lot of our die sets have a little star in them. I happen to have a little thumb punch, which is super easy and missing. So my tree is going to be starless for you today. That's crazy. Sorry about that, but you'll get the picture. You'll get the picture. All right, so pretend like it has a star on it because I don't know where it is and I don't want to go find one. So we're going to start assembling. What is most important here is to get it in the right order. So you are going to, on the back of your, what is this, brick wall, on the back of your brick wall, you're going to run, I ran tape like this. I think it worked the best. And then I'm going to put my window. This is just window sheet. So we have window sheet in our catalog and it's fab. Don't get me wrong. It's wonderful. But it's very thick, which is also wonderful. If you're going to make a box or something like that out of it, since mine just needs to be thin because I'm doing so many layers here, I actually used a transparency sheet. Remember transparencies with the overhead projector for presentations? That's what I used. And now I have a window in my card. Okay. And so I'm going to pretend like I still have a star here. That's crazy. I can't believe I dropped my star. I would like it better if it had one, but okay. You're getting my picture. All right, so it still has some sticky around the outside, which is great. And now I can kind of position this in my window. It doesn't matter if the very bottom of the tree shows. What matters is that you can't see ground around it. And so I just kind of stuck that in there. And yeah, it looks like it's a small, tiny tree. I'm just going to stick that to there, to my different tape there. It looks like it's a small, tiny tree, but once I put this on here, it is not going to show. See that? Okay, so then I would just use some tape or some glue adhesive around here. I'm not going to do it right now because not having a star there is going to make me nutty, so I'm not going to actually adhere it. But I'm not going to actually adhere the back, but I can do the front actually. So let's do that. I'm just going to run a little tape on there. Not going through a wind tunnel, as I always remind you. So this card, your window doesn't need to be nutty with glue. I like tape if I'm going to be putting it on plastic like this so that it sticks better. So there you go. All right, so I still am going to be able to take this off and put my star on. I know you're worried about that because that's freaking me out too. But it's ready to go almost. I want to add my shutters. Remember not to put your shutters like this, okay? Because shutters are supposed to actually close over your window. Those of you who live in like hurricane zones, you know all about that. So I don't need to tell you. Alrighty. So I am going to use some dimensionals and I am going to pop my shutters up a little bit. Sorry, I should do that on the frame. So I'm just using 2 each. Just because I want to give it some support. And I'm going to go right up against my window like that. And now 2 dimensionals here. Toss that out of the way casually. Like I'm not the one who has to sweep. Oh, but I do. All right, that's going to go there. And then this whole thing is going to go on dimensionals right on my card top. Right, so far we've got that. See what a difference that star makes? Okay, I'm going to find it. It's going to make me crazy, but you're getting the picture, right? So now I've also used a punch, and I don't know what punch I used either. So I will list that down below also. As you can see, I made October's cards a while ago. I just have not made videos for you guys, sadly. So I will go ahead and stamp this. And again, I am using It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year stamp out of the Tags and Trimmings stamp set that was in the annual catalog. So you have lots of time to get this. And I'm using Cherry Cobbler ink. So far we've used, this green was Mossy Meadow, and this is Cherry Cobbler. And I'm going to move it around on my stamp pad and then go straight down and straight up. All right, I will put the name of the punch down below for you and the name of the color. But really, you could use a lot of different colors in this. It does not have to be the same color that I used. It would be cute with white. I guess it kind of depends on what your wallpaper is, so it kind of looks like it goes. I'm also using an old ribbon that I love. This is vanilla, and it has the gold rim. And we don't have this anymore, but you could use just about any ribbon. And part of why I'm showing you sometimes things that you can't actually get from Stampin' Up! Anymore is because I want you to go to your stash. I want you to go to your collection of ribbon. I know you have one, and old papers. This piece of paper that I used for the wallpaper, it's not very big. It just has to cover this so that, you know, it can hide the hole that you cut out. So it could be a lot of your papers. You have these papers, and I want you to use up all your little scraps. So anyway, with this ribbon, what I did is I just did one of these Ribbon of Courage kind of ribbons like this. And I flipped it over, and I stuck it right on here like that. So I'm going to make it kind of snug on here like this. And we're going to trim it after we get the parts out. I'm going to use a little bit of Scotch tape to hold it in place so it doesn't make me nuts while I try to put dimensionals on there. So that will save me. And now I'm going to add some dimensionals. Lots of dimension on this card. So you probably still could mail it with no extra postage. But it would also be a good card to stick in a bag, okay? Because it is a little taller. And if your post office is a stickler, they might say, oh, it's kind of tall. You might need extra postage. I don't think you would, but you know, the one way that I know to check is to run it through the slot on your trimmer. I think I've shown that in another video, so you'll have to look around. But okay, so we're just pretending like this is on here with dimensionals, right? And then we are going to stick this way over here under our window. And then I'm going to trim these tags off. So let's go this way. You could have the, well, actually, you know what? It could be going the same direction. It's fine. My scissors need to be sharpened. I need to do that. I've got so many things to do in the less busy season. Is there such thing as a less busy season? I don't know. This is opposite of good is better, guys. If you get a good trim on here, don't try and trim it down because you'll be sad. Like that, it gets hairy. Okay, so, oh, my window fell out. There it is. So it would just be on dimensional, and there you go. It's ready to go. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you are curious about all the products I used, I am also, but they will be listed in the description below, along with the link straight to my website, so you could order what we've got. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be yours. And if you would like to order this kit, except for the stamped images, you'd get all the parts like this and the wallpaper and all the parts, and you would need to substitute in your own stamps to fit there. But I just showed you how to kind of cheat a tree. So you've got a tree in your stamp collection. If not, I've got a list and they'll be on my website. This is the October class. So specify that if you're interested in a kit. Thanks so much for stopping by. Have a great day. Bye-bye.